नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. So welcome back. So we have been discussing from Shri Harinaam Chintamani, and we were in the third chapter. We have not completed the third chapter, so I'll complete the third chapter and then we will move on to the fourth chapter today. So I'll just share the screen. Hold on for a second. I'm just sharing it. Okay, so if you remember, we have been discussing about Namabhas. The third chapter talks about Namabhas. So we had discussed the various stages of chanting the holy name, or the various ways of chanting the holy name, and the various, um, you can say, like meanings of the word namabhas, how the same word namabhas is used in multiple contexts to mean multiple things. We had discussed about that. So we will continue. I'll just do a quick recap of what we have seen till now. So we had discussed about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discusses or requests Srila Haridas Thakur to speak about Namabhas, but he says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that even though the holy name is like the sun, but still, just like clouds and mist can cover the vision of the seer, even though they have no capacity to cover the sun, because the sun is huge, whereas the clouds and mist are very, very small compared to sun. So, but when they are close enough to the eyes of the um, the seer, they have the capacity of covering the vision of the seer, right? So here the clouds and the mist are compared to ignorance and anarthas. So therefore, in some people may chant and they may see very profound effect of the chanting, and others may not see any effect of chanting or very minimal compromised effect of chanting. The reason is the covering of ignorance and anarthas. And then he talks about various categories of ignorance, right? Swatatva Vibrama, Paratatva Vibrama, Bhakti Tattva Vibrama, Bhakti Pratikula Vastu Tattva Vibrama. So, ignorance about the nature of one's own self, ignorance about the nature of the Lord, ignorance about the nature of Bhakti, ignorance about the nature of what is uh, um, unfavorable for Bhakti. And then also we discussed about the various kinds of namabhas, Shuddha Nam, the Shraddha Namabhas, Ashraddha Namabhas, and things like that. I will not go into this again. I think we have sufficiently discussed about it. Um, just as the sun becomes invisible only from the relative position of the individual under the cloud, but is never really covered. So in the real sense, the holy name's potency is never compromised. Um, uh, the holy name is all powerful, but what if the living entity chooses to cover himself, just like the sun is blazing out, but if one chooses to go inside the house and put all the curtains, close all the doors, then say that the sun is not shining above my head, that is not the problem with the sun. The person is choosing to cover himself, so that is the problem, right? So the holy name is never covered, for it is non-different from Krishna. I'm sorry. The full effects are diminished for those people whose eyes are covered by anarthas and ignorance, right? So then we saw various types of anarthas: asat trishna, hridaya daurbalyam, aparad, mm, and tattva vibrama. Tattva vibrama is already mentioned as ignorance. So ignorance and anarthas put together are these four things, right? In this we discussed about the four types of each four into 4 16. We saw four types of asat trishna, which is desire for material objects in this world, desire for heavenly comforts, desire for mystic powers, desire for liberation. Four types of hridaya daurbalyam, or weakness of heart, which is envy, desire for fame, deceitfulness or fault finding, and attachment to things unrelated to Krishna. We saw four kinds of tattva vibhrama, right? And four kinds of aparads, and we briefly discussed about the solution for the four types of anarthas, how asat trishna can be controlled by very scrupulously following the second verse of nectar of instruction. Hridaya daurbalyam can be addressed by following the fourth verse of nectar of instruction. Aparad can be addressed by following the first verse of nectar of instruction. And tattva vibhrama can be addressed by surrender and chastity to Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. We saw this last time. So then what did we discuss about? Uh, then we discussed about he spoke about, after the bona fide guru gives Sambandha Gyan, he instructs the disciple on the practice of culturing the holy name. So we discussed about what does it mean to culture the holy name, right? Culturing the holy name means to consciously avoid offenses and to chant and hear attentively. Some of you shared about culturing means fine tuning, nurturing, deliberately inducing, right? So basically what it means, it's a conscious endeavor to make it better and better. So when the holy name is consciously cultured, then it will drive out the anarthas we saw, right? This is what Shila Haridas Thakur says here. And finally, when the holy name is cultured in this way, eventually one reaches the stage of prema. Then he spoke about uh, um, what is sadhana bhakti means conscious culturing of the holy name. It helps uncover the Krishna prem which is eternally there in our heart, right? Then he says, by the mercy of the pure Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, if the jiva takes up Krishna's name with correct knowledge of Sambandha, he will certainly attain the great treasure of prema, the perfectional activity of the living entity. So at that time, even moksha becomes very insignificant. The bliss of liberation becomes very insignificant, like that. But then he says, but as long as Sambandha Gyan is not accepted, and then the anarthas and ignorance must remain, and the person will continue on the platform of namabhas. We saw that here the usage of the word namabhas indicates aparadhanam, literally, right? However, even chanting in the stage of namabhas is considered to be very auspicious. So he says that if one, it is considered the chief of pious activities, for by the accumulation of namabhas activity, one eventually gains faith. So this generally refers to Ashraddha namabhas we saw. The various, from the context we were trying to understand, the different usages of the word namabhas in that, in the description. We did this exercise last time. I hope you remember that. So then he says, namabhas is considered higher than the activities of yoga, sacrifice, varnashram rules, austerities, etc., because it will lead to the path of pure bhakti. So this generally refers to Ashraddha Namabhas. This will lead to accumulation of Agyata Sukriti, and which when accumulates leads to faith in pure devotional service, right? So we saw this. And by chanting in Namabhas, all sinful effects are destroyed and one can attain liberation from the material world. All the ill effects of Kali Yuga are destroyed, evil influences of ghosts, demons, spirits, and unfavorable planets are also nullified, like that. And for these reasons, Namabhas is even more powerful than the Vedas and all holy places. It surpasses all the materialistic pious activities of Karma Kanda. We saw this last time. And he says that because the holy name is invested with all of Krishna's transcendental energies, therefore, even chanting in Namabhas Hela. So, Ashraddha, 4 types of Ashraddha. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I lost the signal for a brief while. Uh, I think I will stop my video because um, maybe the signal is poor. That's why I lost. So I'm just hopefully you're able to hear me right now at least, right? Uh, you're able to hear me? Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Yeah, fine. Okay, so we saw the example of Ajamil for the Sanketya Namabhas. He was calling his son, and still he was saved from the Yamadutas. And then we saw the Yavan also, who was chanting Haram, Haram while dying. That is also considered to be Sanketya Namabhas. Just because in that particular case, that Yavan did not have any, that particular Yavana did not have any offenses. So not that every Yavan who says Haram, Haram is chanting Sanketya Namabhas, right? So then there is Stoba, Parihasyam, Jarasandha. Jarasandha was doing Parihasyam, but Jarasanda's chanting is not considered to be Parihasya Namabhas, because definitely there was an offensive mentality. Similarly, Shishupal was chanting in derision, so therefore Shishupal is not considered to be Stoba Namabhas, but this is Stoba, an example of derision, right? And Helanam is uttering the name in disregard, like that. So he says that these 4 kinds of namabhas are situated on the lower border of namabhas. Lower border of namabhas we saw last time. It refers to Ashraddha namabhas, right? So it refers to Ashraddha namabhas. The higher border is the Shraddha namabhas of Chaya type, right? So on the other hand, if one has genuine faith, on the other hand means this is Shraddha. Okay. If one has genuine faith in Krishna and takes to the holy name while anarthas are still present, that stage is called as Shraddha Namabhas. Right. So this is Shraddha Namabhas, this is Ashraddha Namabhas. Since even by chanting in Namabhas without faith, right? So this is Ashraddha Namabhas. right? He says, since even by chanting in Ashraddha Namabhas, one can attain liberation, right? How can one describe the results of chanting in Namabhas with faith, right? So here, if you recollect the chart, the Shraddha and Ashraddha Namabhas is being described here. So, okay. Thus, provided one does not commit Nama Aparad. So, this is the key. Actually, uh, this is this statement is the connection to the rest of the book. Okay. The connection to the rest of the book. Because the rest of the book is going to talk about the 10 types of Nama Aparad. He says, thus, provided one does not commit Nama Parad, Namabhas is praiseworthy. So, whether it is Shraddha or Ashraddha. So, whether Shraddha or Ashraddha. Right? So, if whether Shraddha or Ashraddha, if there is no offenses, it is very praiseworthy. If there is, if it is Ashraddha Namabhas, but without offenses, then it will lead to liberation. If it is Shraddha Namabhas without offenses, then it will lead to Krishna Prem eventually, right? So like that. It is considered unlimited times better than karma or jnana, because a person with such namabhas will eventually get faith. See, again, here the namabhas is used in multiple ways. So one will eventually get faith means here definitely this is talking about Ashraddha namabhas. Ashraddha namabhas, chanting in Ashraddha namabhas leads to Agyata Sukruti, and Agyata Sukruti, when accumulated, leads to Shraddha, like that. Now he is going to talk about two different types of Shraddha namabhas, which is Chaya and Pratibimba, right? He says Abhas means faint light or indirect image. It is of two types, reflected light and obstructed light, right? Similarly, there are two types of faint faith, reflected and distorted, right? Or reflected or distorted faith and shadow or partial faith. Okay. So, partial faith means weak faith. It is weak but pure. This is called as Chaya Namabhas. If you remember the chart, we have discussed about it. So, Chaya Namabhas this is what is the goal of sadhakas. I mean, at least the intermediate goal. This is the intermediate goal of the sadhakas. So from partial faith comes dim namabhas, which eventually develops into pure name and love of God. This is classed as actual namabhas. This is Chaya namabhas. Just as clouds obstruct the full brilliance of the sun, so the clouds of the anarthas and the mist of ignorance in the jiva's heart allow only a faint light of the name to enter, right? So even though by chanting one holy name, one should roll in the ground in Krishna Prem, but still, because we still are at the stage of Nama Bhas only, complete destruction. We have not reached the stage of Shuddhanam and eventually Bhavanam and Premanam, then it does not happen. Even though having the opportunity to take pure faith, other living entities take a distorted faith. They take a distorted faith, which is compared to the light reflected from water. So distorted faith is Pratibimba. The light is broken and the image is not intact. So this is Pratibimba Namabhas means chanting with mixed faith, which means one has faith in the holy name, one is consciously chanting the holy name while understanding the glories of the holy name. But the understanding of the glories of the holy name is not complete. uh, one thinks that the holy name is capable of giving mukti, or one thinks that the holy name is capable of giving bhukti, or and all that, siddhis and all that. For those purposes, if one chants the holy name, uh, that is called as pratibimba namabhas, right? Or if one is practicing karma and as or a jnana or yoga, and as a part of that practice of karma, jnana and yoga, if they are chanting the holy name, that is called as pratibimba namabhas. So such people do have faith in the chanting of the holy name, but that faith is not complete faith. They don't have complete faith in the holy name. Hmm. So when people with distorted faith receive the holy name, the name that they take is also distorted. Okay. So we saw this last time. No faith means ashraddha namabhas. Distorted faith means pratibimba or shraddha, pratibimba shraddha namabhas. And pure faith, when one has it, leads to chaya shraddha namabhas, like that. And then he says that this pratibimba namabhas, one is prone to uh, get attracted to Mayavad mentality and all that, because people who practice jnana or karma, they may be proper practitioners also, or they may be Mayavadis also. So in that way, they are prone to get the association of such Mayavadis, and eventually their mentality may get completely, you can say, like corrupted due to their association, like that. Then here is the difference between real namabhas, which is chaya namabhas, and pratibimba namabhas. So he says in chaya namabhas, many anarthas may be generated out of ignorance and weakness of heart, but all these effects can be cleared by continual chanting of the holy name. Okay. So chaya namabhas is what devotees chant, right? And it is endowed with pure faith. So chaya namabhas means pure but weak faith. Okay. And pratibimba namabhas means impure and weak or strong faith. Okay. It can be weak faith or strong faith, but it is essentially impure faith. But chaya namabhas means pure faith is pure, but it is weak. That is why it is namabhas, right? So in chaya namabhas, anarthas may be generated out of ignorance and weakness of heart, but all these effects can be cleared by continual chanting of the holy name. But in pratibimba namabhas, which is born from cheating knowledge, offenses simply increase. This is not called namabhas, but it is called as namaparad. I mean, for one who is aspiring for pure love of Godhead, definitely chanting for material benefits is committing namaparad only, right? So this is where we ended our discussion last time. We still have six, seven slides. But before we cover these slides, if there are any quick comments, discussions, questions, I'll pause for a few minutes. Already there is one hand up. Ruchi Mataji, I'm unmuting you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, am I audible?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, Prabhuji, my last time question you asked me to remind you was that if Jarasandh and Shishupal are not even doing namabhas, I mean, one is abusing God and one is making fun of God, how are they getting liberated?
Okay. So actually, I will just add one more slide here. Just hold on for a second. I think I did share this in one of the sessions, but I'm not sure uh, if it was in this session or some other session, I don't recollect, but I just share this understanding. Okay. So there are two categories of demons. Okay. This Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan explains in his Bhagavad Gita commentary. Okay. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Tanaham dishata kruran samsareshu naradaman kshipam yajasrama shubhan asurishveva yonishu. He says that for those who are atheistically inclined, those who hate me, I cast them into demoniac species and they continue in those demoniac species, he says. And mam aprapyaiva, they don't attain me, Krishna says. Right? So these are who are demons by nature. Okay. There are other kinds of demons who became demons by curse. Okay. So they are not demoniac by nature. They are actually quite pious people only and devotionally inclined people. But due to some mistakes, they get cursed by some sages or someone and they become demons. Okay. So such demons are killed by Krishna and given liberation. But those who are demons by nature, they are never killed. Such demons are never killed by Krishna and they are not given liberation. So,
but Prabhuji, as we see in the case of Mahaprabhu, even Sachi Mata, who's an incarnation of Yashoda Mai, she has descended. Even though she's eternally liberated, she's Nitya Set. But even then, God requested his own mother to give up anger on Advaita Acharya, and like then I will give you bhakti. So he is even asking his mother to come even externally onto the mark. Then why not for these demons?
well, his pure devotees Krishna uses to set the right example for others. But the demons, he just kills them and gives them impersonal liberation.
But
So
my last question, sorry Prabhuji to interrupt, my last question, when Jaya and Vijaya were cursed by the four Kumaras, they were given two options by God, either 7 saintly births or 3 demonic, and then I will call you to Vaikuntha. But every time we say that after Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha and Ravan and Kumbkaran and Dantvark and Shishupal, they were liberated, or did they go to Vaikuntha even after Sthoba and Hela?
For them, you don't see it as Toba, Hela, and all those things. They are eternally liberated souls. They came to give pleasure to the Supreme Lord in BVRC so that he can feel the experience of chivalry, of fighting with a worthy opponent. They came for that purpose. When that got accomplished, they went back to their abode.
So means they were, even after like the fighting, they are going back to Vaikuntha. They are not liberated, like they are going back to Vaikuntha. So to the eternal kingdom.
Yeah, they don't get Sahija Mukti. Even though it may seem like they get Sahija Mukti, in reality they go back to their abode, their own position as gatekeepers. They take that position.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Amal Bhakti Mataji, I'm unmuting you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. You can hear me now, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Prabhuji, you are mentioning now in that Pratibimba, we do offenses because of some knowledge. It was there in the shared screen from cheating knowledge. So what exactly does this cheating knowledge mean here, Prabhu?
Cheating knowledge means while chanting the holy name can give you Krishna prem, they think that by chanting the holy name I will get some impersonal liberation. By chanting the holy name I will get some siddhi. By chanting the holy name I can get some swarga. These are all compromised, incomplete understanding. So when you pay 100 rupees and someone is giving you a product worth only 2 rupees. So he's really cheating you. So this is cheating knowledge. While with chanting the same holy name, you can get Krishna Prem. Why should one think that, by chanting the holy name, I will get only Swarga or liberation like that? So that is why it is called as cheating knowledge. Is that okay, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Ram Kirti Prabhu, I am unmuting.
Hare Krishna, Dhanapuram Prabhuji. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Prabhuji, my question is related to the last question, related to Shishupal and Jarasan. Prabhuji, while just reading, if we read just that context from this slide, it seems that Haridas Thakur is directly saying that Parihasa is example Jarasan and Stoba is Shishupala, and they got delivered by this only. It seems like logically that, because he's giving the example just aside this and saying that, yeah, they got delivered also. So it doesn't.
No, but still, Stoba, Hela, all these things should be offenseless. But in the case of Shishupal and Jarasandha, there was certainly an offensive mood. So he was just giving an example of what is Stoba and what is Hela. He was not giving an example of Stoba Namabas and Hela Namabas.
So why it is mentioned also then that they got liberated also? It should not have been mentioned. By writing this that they got liberated across the worlds, that means that there is some connection between the Namabas which they were taking and the result they got. It seems like that, Roj. I'm not
Okay,
sure.
let's see. Let us see what exactly it says. Okay. One who utters the name of the Lord in parihas, a joking mood, such as Jarasandha, also crosses over the material world. Yeah, you're right. It seems to indicate that, but it is not what it is, right?
Okay.
Because
Yes. There is a
because
common.
yeah, so it does not say he crossed Jarasandha crossed the material world due to parihasanamabhas. So he has to give an example of parihas, right? Joking. So so this is an example of parihas, uh, and this is not an example of parihas namabhas, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You got
Right.
it, Proj. There is comma which says that, okay, this is only of that. Yeah. Got it. Thank you.
Hari Prasad Prabhu, I'm unmuting.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, one small question is, it seems curses by the sages to some devotees who might committing some mistake are two types. It seems like Vritrasura is one category. Seems he remembers, even he's in the demonic state, he remembers his situation. And like Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Shishupal, they are also cursed by, curse in somewhere or other, but they are not able to remember. Is it true, Prabhuji?
Well, not necessarily. They have to play their role. Whatever is the role that they have to play in that particular drama, they play it to perfection. It was Vritrasur's role to chant the prayers and remember Krishna and all that. But it was not the role of Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Shishupal like that. So therefore, they played their role. In the case of Vritrasur, even in a demoniac body, his role was to remember Krishna. But in the case of Shishupal, Dantavakra, etc., the pastime required that they perfectly had that hatred and played that role to perfection. So they played it like that.
Okay. Means they are pure devotees internally, because generally, actually, my original doubt is how come the pure soul who has a pure devotion to Krishna can be covered like that? So are they really envious inside? His
No,
soul is.
I mean, see, from one point of view, the envy is real envy because they asked for it. In Madhurya Kadambini, it is Sri Vishnu Thakur explains that once Jay and Vijay were thinking, my dear Lord, actually, you are perfect in everything. All your desires are automatically fulfilled. But only one thing, actually, how about your desire to have a good fight? Okay. So, people of this material world, they are envious of you, but they don't have any power to fight with you. And people of the spiritual world, you share your same power with them, but they don't have envy with you, so they will not fight with you. So just like a good boxer, huh, a good boxer or a good fighter would need a very good opponent to actually feel the happiness of winning a battle. Huh? So a good boxer will not feel happy fighting with a mosquito. Huh? He will not feel that if he beats a mosquito and if he gives a gold medal, he will not be very happy with that. He will need a good fight. So they say that, look, my dear Lord, because we are your eternal associates, you have bestowed us with same power as yourself. Uh, so therefore, you please make us inimical for a short while, fight with us, get the happiness of fighting with a worthy opponent, and then you can bring us back to the spiritual world. Like that, they tell the Supreme Lord. The Lord agrees, and then the whole thing is orchestrated. He allows the four Kumaras to enter into Vaikunta, even though they are not qualified for it. And then eventually, a situation arises, they curse Jay and Vijay, and because of that, they go. This is all orchestrated by Krishna. Otherwise, Nitya Siddhas cannot be cursed by uh, personalities like the four Kumaras. It is not possible at all. So this whole situation was created by Supreme Lord.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
All right. Subramanya Shastri Prabhu, I'm unmuting.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, am I audible Prabhu?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Prabhu, that Hiranyakashipu was killed by Nrsimha Bhagavan. And finally Prahlad asked the boons. He told, my father can be liberated. He has given liberation for these 7 upper parts and 7 this one also. Then why he again take the birth of, once he liberated, why again take the birth, Prabhu?
So, I mean, that is not exactly, okay, that's a whole different discussion. This is described by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. There is an explanation given in the 7th canto verses. We will discuss it some other time, but at least let's discuss something which is closer to the subject matter we are discussing, because I understand, because we were discussing about the demons, and then the subject matter is completely like has taken a different course. So I don't wish to discuss it right now, because we are currently discussing about the holy name. So otherwise, it will all be these kind of discussions, and we will not get into the subject matter. So if you have something connected to Nama Bhas or the subject matter that we are discussing, we will discuss it. Rest of the discussions, actually, it will take a long time to discuss that subject matter. How it is, 14 generations up and down, and who exactly goes. There are certain explanations given about this in the 7th canto purport, certain explanations given in Bhakti Sandarbha. But that's a long discussion, and it will be not very much relevant to the current topic on hand. So maybe some other time we'll discuss that.
Yes, okay, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Ganesh Prabhu, I'm unmuting. Ganesh Prabhu, I have unmuted you. Okay, Shakti Mataji, I'm unmuting you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I'll ask the question. If it's relevant, you please answer. So in Krishna book, I studied that Kamsa is in previous with Kala Nemi, and he was killed by Krishna. Then again, why he has taken birth? And also one more question. is in when Krishna descends like demigods or his associates, everybody comes, no? Like, then who is demons in that? Everybody devotees only, no?
Well, where does Kamsa come back?
Kamsa as previous birth, Kalanemi.
Mhm.
In that Krishna book I read,
Okay. In previous
he
book,
has come
he is
to
Kalani.
know he was
Okay.
Kalanemi and he was killed by Vishnu. This was, it is
Okay. Good
mentioned
point.
there.
Good point. Good point. So good out this point. Of course, even though it is not completely connected to the subject matter, but I will just touch this point. See, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu says that there are mm, there are 60 qualities in all Vishnu Tattvas, right? And then there are 64 qualities only in Krishna. Okay. So, uh, uh, of so within the 60 qualities comes this quality of Hatari Gati Dayakatvam. So which means Hata Ari, which means if they kill the enemies, the enemies get a better destination. So a better destination than what they deserve, right? So any Vishnu Tattva, whether it is uh, Rama, Krishna, Narasingha, Vamana, anyone, if they kill their enemies, if they kill the demons, even though they may be destined to go to hell only, but if they are killed by any Vishnu Tattva, they will get a higher destination. But this higher destination need not necessarily be liberation. It is liberation only in the case of Krishna. If Krishna kills someone, then they definitely get liberation. But if any other Vishnu forms, when they kill the demon, they may get a higher destination, but liberation is not guaranteed, right? So even those 60 qualities which are there in Vishnu Tattvas and in Krishna, those 60 qualities are there in a superlative degree in Krishna. In fact, Krishna does not even have to kill a person. On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Srila Bhishmadev says, uh, Yam iha niriksha hatagata swarupam. He says that. Just by taking darshan of Krishna's face and when they gave up their body, they attained liberation. So, but this is not necessarily the case with any other form of the Lord. This is strictly the case only with Krishna. Hmm. So only when Krishna kills someone, or even he need not even kill, if someone looks at Krishna and gives up their body, then they are guaranteed liberation. But this is not true with other incarnations of the Lord. Is that okay, Mataji?
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. You are like you have lots of knowledge and thanks to all the devotees and you, Prabhu. Thank you, Hari Krishna.
Right. Okay. Just hold on for a second. Okay. So if you all have some other question not connected to the demons, because the demons is not like really the subject matter we are discussing about the holy name, I don't mind answering these questions, but then they are not so relevant actually. So if you have any demon related questions, maybe we will take a separate demon session, maybe after we complete one or two more chapters. We will dedicate one session just for demon related questions. But if you have any non-demon related questions, something connected to the subject matter we are discussing, we will take. So I hope you won't mind. So Ganesh Prabhu, I'm unmuting you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, Prabhuji, how do you differentiate between a pure faith and an impure faith?
Okay. So how do you differentiate between pure faith and impure faith? So pure faith means um, um, oh, just hold on for a second. It's raining. Okay. So pure faith means, oh, just hold on. Okay. It's raining really heavily and water is getting sprinkled on the laptop. Just hold on for a second. I'll just. I'll have to. It's really torrential rain here, and it's the roof is leaking actually. Okay. Okay. So you asked about what is the difference between pure faith and mixed faith. So pure faith means you understand that. Okay, I will just write it on the this thing. So so pure faith. Okay, and mixed faith. Okay. So the Sambandha Gyan may be the same. So in pure faith, the Sambandha Gyan is Jiva is servant and Krishna is master. Okay. But in mixed faith, the Sambandha Gyan can be slightly distorted. Okay. So Jiva, there may be an understanding of Jiva to be spirit, but the servant mode may be absent. Okay. And they may accept Krishna to be very powerful, but they may have an understanding of Krishna being order system. Okay. So this is with respect to the Sambandha Gyan. Okay. And with respect to the Abhideya practice, one who has pure faith, he will say, what is the practice? He will say, Navada Bhakti, 9-limbed devotional service. So, but one with mixed faith, he'll say, what is the process? He will say either Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga, or he may say Karma Mishra Bhakti, Jnana Mishra Bhakti, where predominantly Bhakti, but with some mix of Karma Jnana. So he will not just practice Navada Bhakti, Shravanam Kirtanam, but along with that, he will think that I can't just practice Bhakti, that is not sufficient. I also have to practice some Karma, some Varnashrama, and other things like that. And so this is with respect to the Abhideya process. Okay. And then with respect to Prayojana, okay, the one with pure faith, okay, the one with pure faith, he thinks the Prayojan is Krishna Prema. Okay. The one with mixed faith, he may think that the Prayojan is either liberation or Swarga or Siddhis, like that. So, someone having pure faith will have pure Sambandha Gyan, Jivera Swarup Hoy Krishnera Nityadas. Pure Abhideya, which is Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Satyamatma Nivedanam. And pure Prayojan, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhyaka Bunoi Shravanadi Shuddha Chitta Korayoday. So these are the symptoms of pure faith. And mixed faith means Jiva is spirit soul that he will accept, but he will say that and Krishna is all powerful, so therefore I have to worship Krishna to get liberation or Swarga or Siddhis like that. And his Abhideya is either Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, or Karma Mishra Bhakti, Jnana Mishra Bhakti, Yoga Mishra Bhakti like that. And in terms of Prayojan, one with pure faith accepts Prema as the Prayojan, one with mixed faith accepts either liberation, Swarga, Siddhis as his Prayojan like that. Is that okay, bro? I forgot who raised the hand. Can you raise your hand again so that I will mute you? Yeah, Ganesh. Please. Is that clear?
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Very clear.
Okay. Shri Ramya Mataji, I am unmuting.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, I had a question regarding Pratibimba Namabhasa. I missed a couple of classes and I was watching on YouTube. So sorry for the delay in the question. So like Pratibimba Namabhas, the practitioner thinks that the name, holy name is not enough. And or he thinks that it is a means to something higher and he tries to pursue something higher. But supposing a person knows that the holy name is the highest thing, but he is not able to reach the holy name, so he takes up some other process. Like for example, I've maybe even I went through this phase in my life, and I see a lot of practitioners like while chanting, we are not able to focus. So like we take up like I've seen like people take up some kind of meditation, like focusing on the breath or something, but we are sure that holy name is the ultimate thing, and this is done only in order to improve our concentration so that we can focus better while taking the holy name. So if the other process is taken in order to attain like in order to get better at the holy name, is this also pratibimba namabhas and we ultimately end up in cheating?
No, not necessarily. Let's say some people uh, okay, one small suggestion. Those who are asking questions, please do not mute yourself after asking the question, because if I have to ask a follow-up, you won't be able to unmute yourself because that option, I have not activated that option. So, Mataji, can you again raise your hand? Okay, I am unmuting you now. So, you stay unmuted till the it is addressed.
Yes,
So,
Prabhu.
see, sometimes devotees put earplugs while chanting the holy name. So, because they find it very useful, because they are not disturbed by other external sounds, because sometimes they may be disturbed hearing someone else who is chanting very loud sitting next to them, or the external sounds and things like that. So, but that does not mean that putting earplug becomes the 10th limb of devotional service. So it is not like that. And and if they start thinking that, hey, the person sitting next to me is not using earplugs, so he must be chanting in a very distracted way. If one starts thinking like that, then it is pratibimba. If someone say practices pranayam, it is helping me regulate my breath and it's helping me concentrate better. Is that pratibimba namabhas? No,
Yes,
not
exactly was my question.
not necessarily. If you think, hey, he's not doing pranayam, so he must not be chanting very attentively. If you start thinking like that, then it is pratibimba namabhas, because you are thinking anyone in this world, if he has to chant attentively, he has to do pranayam, which means you are essentially making pranayam a non-negotiable limb of devotional service for every practitioner. So which means you're literally thinking that it is a limb of devotional service. Then it is Pratibimba Namabhas. But if you think, oh, if I do some pranayam, I'm able to breathe regulatedly and that way I'm able to concentrate better. That is not necessarily Pratibimba Namabhas.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thanks a lot, Prabhuji. You clarified one big doubt for me. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Priya Sundari Mataji, I'm unmuting you.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, when we were speaking about Chaya and Namabhas, you mentioned about weak faith. So now, since you have mentioned about pure faith, mixed faith, is weak faith same as mixed faith?
No, 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 no. Weak faith means like do you accept the holy name to be non-different from Krishna? But then why are you able to chant attentively? I'm asking, you are able to chant attentively all the time?
No.
But if you accept the holy name to be non-different from Krishna, then why you are not able to chant attentively all the time?
Yeah, okay, correct.
Right.
But Prabhuji, you were also mentioning about the anartha. So in that stage, it is not possible to chant with attention or whatever. Um, is it connected that way? Like because of the anartha nivritti, you're unable to chant, or is it because of weak faith that there is anartha nivritti and we are unable? Is there any connect?
Faith is not strong enough to overcome the anarthas.
Okay, okay, yes. Okay, got it, Prabhuji. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Okay. So I think we will continue our discussion now. Okay. Now he says the Mayavadis consider Krishna, his name, form, leela, and qualities to be false and perishable. This is the Mayavadi misunderstanding. On this ground, they will never receive love of God, for such a path leads to the opposite direction from the path of devotional service or bhakti. So Mayavadis, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Mayavadi Krishna Aparadi. Mayavada Bhashya Shunile Haya Sarvanash, he says. Whoever hears this Mayavadi understanding, they will definitely be doomed because they consider Krishna's Nama Rupa Guna Leela to be Maya. So therefore such people, they are offenders to the holy name and Krishna. Thus, there can be no real compromise between the two paths. The Mayavad philosophy is considered the enemy of bhakti, and its followers are considered the greatest offenders. So, therefore, philosophical purity is very important. Therefore, you cannot read from any book because we do not know, even though it may be talking about the holy name, it may be talking about Krishna. So just because Krishna's pastimes are there does not mean we can pick up any book and read, right? So we have to very strictly read the writings of our own parampara acharyas only. If we read from here and there, we don't know, it may be pastimes of Krishna, but very unknowingly there may be some poison of Mayavad that is there. So we have to be very careful about where we hear from or read what we read, right? So actually, the holy name never comes from the mouths of these people. For although the syllables may be heard, the holy name with all its transcendental potency does not reside there. So the holy name is powerful, but when chanted by these Mayavadis, you remember there are two types of separation. One is syllabic separation, another is philosophical separation or ideological separation. So if there is an ideological separation, then it is very serious offense actually. where they don't accept the pure devotional ideology. They think that Krishna's name is imaginary, or it is not powerful, and things like that. This is not like a proper understanding. The Mayavadi chanting the name in this way simply goes to hell because he thinks that the name is temporary and material. So he simply goes to hell literally means uh, he is under the control of karma. Okay, so that is what it means. So he simply goes to it does not mean that literally every Mayavadi goes to hell. They may go to hell, but the point is that they are literally put under the control of karma. That's what it means. So while chanting the name, the Mayavadi desires enjoyment and liberation. And by being so deceptive and chanting with motivation, he receives only pain for all his troubles. Okay. If he see a Mayavadi, so there is a difference between Mayavadi and one who is chanting Pratibimba Namabhas. Okay. So both desire liberation. Okay. So a person practicing chanting Pratibimba Namabhas may also desire liberation. A Mayavadi also desires liberation. Whereas a person who is chanting Pratibimba Namabhas, he does not think that the holy name is material. The holy form of the Lord is material. So therefore, he has he has he at least accepts the holy name to be transcendental and capable of giving results. So such a person does attain liberation. He attains liberation. Okay. Whereas a Mayavadi, even though he desires liberation, he also chants the holy name, but he does not attain liberation because he does not have faith in the transcendental potency of the holy name. Right. So what is the solution for these Mayavadis? If by the mercy of the devotees, he can give up this aspiration for bhukti and mukti and accept his position as servant of Krishna, being repentant and obedient, he can attain liberation. Then, by constantly chanting the name, tears will come to his eyes. The mercy inherent in the name will come, and his true nature, prema bhakti, will become manifest. Okay. So the key is association and mercy of devotees. The key is association and mercy of devotees, which actually leads to uh, pure faith. Okay. So this is the key. But the Mayavadi who holds that both Krishna and the position of the Jiva as Krishna's servant are temporary and imaginary is an offender against the name and dwells in the deep hole of misfortune. Okay. So a person who thinks Krishna is temporary and imaginary, Krishna's holy name is temporary and imaginary, uh, such a person is an offender and he dwells in the deep hole of misfortune. So then he says, since the name is a desire tree, it gives the Mayavadi his desire of merging into the Lord's effulgence. Of course, not Mayavadi, because Mayavadi is an offender to the holy name. So to him, the holy name will not give. Actually, here Mayavadi, one should mean Pratibimba Namabhas, one who is following Pratibimba, one who is chanting Pratibimba Namabhas. Okay. The holy name, you should have faith, proper faith in the holy name. Only then the holy name will give. If a Mayavadi does not have proper faith in the holy name, so a Mayavadi will not merge in the Lord's effulgence. He will not get Sahajya Mukti. Okay. So here, by usage of the word Mayavadi, here it indicates actually one who chants Pratibimba Namabhas only. Of the 5 types of liberation, Sahajya or merging gives relief from the pains of the material ocean, but extinguishes one's own identity as well. Right? So one does not realize one's identity as Krishna's servant. Huh? So that is the problem. Illusioned men thinking there will be happiness in that state receive only the shadow of happiness. They don't really receive true happiness. For in that state, forgetting Krishna completely, they cannot obtain service in eternal bliss and knowledge, which is the perfection of life. The perfection of life is to attain eternal bliss, which is Hladini potency of serving Krishna, and the Samvit potency, which is realization of Krishna. One will be bereft of that in Brahmajyoti. Or, yeah. So if one has no bhakti, no love for Krishna, no constant faith and conviction in Krishna, how can one attain real eternal happiness? It is not possible. Okay. So in summary, one who is at the stage of Namabhas does not accept the Mayavadi philosophy, nor is his heart contaminated or weakened by its influence. Right. So, a Namabhas person, for it to be Namabhas, even Ashraddha Namabhas, it should not be contaminated by the offensive philosophy. If you remember, even Ashraddha Namabhas person should not have deviating Mayavadi understanding, because that is offensive. So even Shraddha Namabhas or Ashraddha Namabhas should be free of offenses. And Mayavadi philosophy is offensive. So therefore, a Mayavadi can never chant any kind of Namabhas. He cannot chant Shraddha Namabhas. He cannot chant Ashraddha Namabhas. Even within Shraddha Namabhas, he cannot chant Chaya or Pratibimba. What he is chanting is full and full outright Aparad Nam only. And such a chanting will not give any favorable result at all. Right? So that is what is discussed here. The full glory of the sun is not visible when covered by clouds, but when the clouds are removed, the sun shines in full glory. That is the Lord's instruction. Whoever accepts this instruction is a fortunate soul. Okay. So clouds are anarthas and ignorance. Okay. So if one tries to remove them and then chant the holy name, then he is a fortunate soul. And whoever rejects it is a rascal who will not be delivered for 100 million births. To state it in another way, one should simply give up bad association and take shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet. So the key, the fountainhead or source of all offensive mentality is bad association. So therefore, one has to give that up. Other than Mahaprabhu's feet, other than his mercy, there is no way. Thus did Haridas Thakur conclude his explanation of Namabhas. One who takes shelter of the two lotus feet of Haridas will sing incessantly his glorification of the name entitled Harinaam Chintamani, like that. So basically, in this way, he concludes this chapter on Namabhas, even though we saw that the word Namabhas is used in different ways. But any type of Namabhas we do understand is without offenses, whether it is Shraddha Namabhas or Ashraddha Namabhas. Hmm? And the way the Mayavadis and atheists chant, even though they may chant the holy name, it is out and out Aparadnam, like that. Any final comments on this chapter before we move on to the next chapter? We are going to now start discussing about, because we have spoken so much about Namabhas should be free of offenses, should be free of offenses, should be free of offenses. So what are the offenses? The 10 kinds of Namaparad. That's what we are going to discuss in the rest of the chapter now. So the next chapter will start with the first offense to the holy name, which is to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their life for propagating the holy names of the Lord. So that is the first offense. We are going to discuss it in the next chapter. But before we start the next chapter, I already see few hands up. So I'll start unmuting. Krishna Rupa Mataji, I'm unmuting you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you. Prabhuji, just last line that is there. One who takes shelter at the two lotus feet of Srila Haridas Thakur will sing. What does this mean? How to take the shelter of the two lotus feet of Haridas Thakur?
Well, if you see Srila Prabhupada translate Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoibe Akuti Kabehama Buja Bose Yugala Piriti. So if you see Srila Prabhupada translating that statement, so Prabhupada says Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoibe Akuti. Literally, it means if one develops attraction to the lotus feet of Rupa Raghunath or takes shelter of the lotus feet of Rupa Raghunath. And Prabhupada says, Prabhupada translates that statement as, if one sincerely studies the books left behind by Rupa Raghunath and follows them, like that. So to take shelter of great acharyas means to follow their teachings. So that's why he says, he talks about Harinaam Chintamani, which is the summary of teachings of Srila Haridas Thakur. So to take shelter of his lotus feet means to accept the teachings which Srila Haridas Thakur is now speaking on being requested by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's what it means.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hari Prasad Prabhu, I am unmuting.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, this question is we saw in the previous slides that how one considers Krishna as Mayavadis, who considers Krishna as temporary and his name temporary, everything is temporary. Are a mere mortal, he may be immortal. Now, what about some sampradayas like Shri Sampradaya, maybe few more also, there where they consider Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a great saint, but they are not considered Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a supreme personality of Godhead. Means, so what exactly is will they chanting comes in Namabhas or sorry Namaparad? Because
no. How do you accept Ramanujacharya?
How do I accept Ramanujacharya? I mean, what do you mean, Prabhuji? I didn't get.
As a great saint or as a Acharya, do you accept or not?
Yes, Prabhuji, we accept. That is there.
But the Sri Vaishnavas accept Ramanujacharya as an incarnation of Ananta Sesh. Okay. So, but see, we may. So the point is, because they don't accept Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they can never attain Braja Prem.
Okay.
But if if they accept Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then they should accept the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. So therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Channavatar, right? Channavatar means covered, not from the materialists, because every avatar is covered from the materialist for that matter. So Channavatar means he's not just covered from the materialist, he's covered from even the other theists who may accept the other forms of the Lord, but they may not be able to see the real position of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So if a Sri Vaishnava chants the name of Lord Narayana without accepting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will he attain Vaikuntha? Yes, why not? Definitely he will attain Vaikuntha, but he can never attain Goloka Vrindavan.
Okay. Okay.
Aswad Prabhu, I am unmuting.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, please.
Prabhu, I want to ask regarding in last slide, you mentioned the avoid the bad association. So exactly what you want to tell about the bad association?
Yeah, this
simply give the.
We will discuss this in great detail in the next chapter. What exactly is bad association?
Okay, very nice, Prabhu. Okay, fine.
Okay, Ruchita Mataji, I am unmuting you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, last Q&A you were speaking, like you clarified about pure faith, mixed faith, and weak faith. So, Prabhuji, you said like if you are having the faith that holy name is non-different and still we are not able to chant attentively, that means we are at the stage of weak faith.
Weak faith, yeah.
Right. And then Prabhuji, we have the understanding that we are the servant and, Krishna is the master and all those conditions, and we are at the level of pure faith. So does that mean, Prabhuji, weak faith is a stage where we have a philosophical understanding, but we have no realization, and that is why we are at the weak faith?
Yeah.
So does that mean, Prabhuji, that pure faith, we are having that realization? Yeah, we are having that experience. That is why we are at the stage of pure faith.
Yeah, pure faith means at least theoretical acceptance is there.
But theoretical acceptance is also there at the stage of weak faith. We are theoretically actually accepting, and that is why we are chanting.
No. See, pure faith can be weak or strong.
Okay.
When pure faith is weak, then it is theoretical. When pure faith becomes stronger and stronger, it becomes more and more realized.
Okay, so Prabhuji, that means weak faith is a part of pure faith only. It's a stage till which we reach the pure
faith can be weak, strong, weak, stronger, strongest.
Okay.
Mixed faith can be weak, stronger, strongest.
Okay. So Prabhuji, that means that its strongest pure faith will lead to Shuddhanam, right?
Yeah, Shuddhanam, Bhavanam, Premanam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Srinivasan Prabhu, I am unmuting.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, in past class you mentioned the reference material for that chart. Can you repeat it again, Prabhu? Because that chart is very important. Because based on that only the entire chapter is going on. Somehow I forgot that the material name what you referred in the past class.
See, one thing is definitely the Harinaam Chintamani, this chapter itself, that is a very important section. A lot of it is based on this chapter only. Some of it is based on Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti's commentary to the Ajamil section of Bhagavatam, 6th canto. The first few chapters, Ajamil sections commentary. There also, I derive few understandings from there. Well, I think these primarily these two materials, based on that, we made this chapter. Hari Prasad Prabhu, I am unmuting.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, I have a question that you mentioned that Avaishnav Mukhodgitam Putam Harikatamritam, one should not hear holy name or even anything from the Avaishnavas or Mayavadis as described in this chapter. So is it what exactly it mean? Is it meant? Is it information? Then generally, whenever they speak any information that is contaminated with their thoughts and their mind, so that's why we should not hear, because that thoughts also will get influenced to, we may get influenced by those thoughts. Or is it just, let's say, some Mayavadi is singing just the holy name? Is it that also an offensive to hear, or exactly?
Yeah,
I
ideally
want
we
to.
should not hear even that, because even because when we hear, then we may
I also
start
want to hear
appreciating
that.
also um, very innocently. We may start appreciating it also, and sometimes we may, when we hear a pure devotee chant, he may not chant with that kind of melody and sweetness, and as much as the Mayavadi is singing. So gradually, then yeah, it will definitely affect our consciousness in one thing. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so I think we have come to the end of this chapter. So we will start the next chapter, because yes, the essence of this chapter is that any kind of namabhas, as long as it is free from offenses, is glorious. But if it is offensive, if it is filled with namaparad, then its effect is severely compromised, right? So this is where uh, uh, this was the concluding remark of the chapter. So now, so in this mood, he is going to start the next chapter, which is basically it's going to start from the first offense to the holy name, which is blaspheming the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name. So let's start with the fourth chapter. We still have about 35 minutes left for today's session. So we'll start the fourth chapter. So blasphemy of Vaishnavas, the first offense. Gadadhara Prana Jaya Janava Jivan Jaya Sita Nata Shrivasadi Bhaktagan. So Shri Chaitanya said, O Haridas, now describe in detail the offenses to the holy name. Okay. So describe in detail the offenses to the holy name. So Srila Haridas Thakur starts answering. He says, by your power, I will say what you make me say. Offenses to the holy name are analyzed as 10 according to the scriptures. So this is basically from the Padma Puran. Padma Puran says these 10 offenses. One should be fearful of committing these offenses. They are as follows. To blaspheme or criticize the Vaishnavas is the first offense. Okay. To consider that the other living entities such as demigods are independent of Krishna, or to consider the names to be independent of Krishna. Third is to disobey or disrespect the Guru. Fourth is to disrespect scriptural authority. Fifth is to interpret the meaning of the name and to think that the glories of the name are imaginary. Sixth is to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. So here, fifth and sixth offenses are clubbed in the fifth offense, right? So to consider the glories of the chanting of the holy, to consider the glories of chanting the name to be an imagination, and sixth is to give some interpretations to the holy name of the Lord. They both are clubbed in the fifth offense here, which is called as Arthavad. So sixth offense is to commit sinful activities and strength to the holy name. Seventh is to give the holy name to the unfaithful who are not ready to accept. In our original this thing, this is the ninth offense, and this is the seventh offense. Okay. To consider the holy name as karma and pious activities. In our regular chanting, this is the eighth offense. To be inattentive while chanting the holy name of the Lord. This is the 11th offense. After having taken correct knowledge, being aware of the glories of the name, to remain attached to material world of I and mine. This is actually the 10th offense. Not have complete faith in chanting of the holy names and to maintain material attachments, even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. So in this way, 11 offenses are clubbed into 10, where 5th and 6th are clubbed in 5th, and the 11th offense of inattentive chanting is described as the 9th offense here, right? So in this way, all offenses are covered, just that the numbering is slightly different. Sadhu Ninda or criticism of Vaishnavas is the first of the 10 offenses against the holy name. Okay, so we are going to try to understand what is this Sadhu Ninda. So here he says the word Ninda means animosity or malice. Huh? Animosity or malice means having a very malicious attitude, a very what to say, a kind of very offensive attitude towards uh, towards devotees. So first we should understand the potency of a sadhu. Who is a sadhu? What is the potency of a sadhu? That is mentioned. Srila Haridas Thakur says, in the pure Vaishnava resides Krishna's energies of bhakti, which is Hladini and Samvit potency. So the Hladini potency is the bliss potency, and the Samvit potency is the knowledge potency. Okay. So this is Ananda and this is Chit. Okay. Here knowledge means knowledge of Krishna. And knowledge of Krishna and his relationship with Krishna. Okay. And bliss means bliss of that relationship. Okay. So what we are going to read in this section, in this particular chapter, is there are some points from Harinaam Chintamani, and some of it is from Madhurya Kadambini by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and I have added some material from here and there. Some of it is from Bhagavatam, some of it is from some other books. Like that, it's a compilation. It's not purely from Harinaam Chintamani, but because it's a very, very relevant subject matter, I have added some material from other books also. Right. So, in the pure Vaishnava resides Krishna's energies of bhakti, which is Hladini and Samvit. Thus, by contacting a Vaishnava, one can also receive Krishna bhakti. This is the potency of a Vaishnava. For this reason also, the food remnants, the foot water, and the foot dust from the pure Vaishnavas are three powerful articles for creating bhakti. Bhakta Pada Duliyara Bhakta Pada Jal, Bhakta Bhukta Avashesha Tina Mahabal. Chaitanya Charitamrita says that these three, the food remnants, the foot water, and the foot dust of pure Vaishnavas are very, very powerful articles for creating bhakti. Because in a pure Vaishnava resides Krishna's Samvit and Hladini Shakti. You know, his Bhakti Shakti is there. If one stays near a pure Vaishnava for some time, one can receive the Bhakti energy flowing from his body. we can get access to the spiritual energy flowing from his body. If one can bind that energy within one's heart, after having developed strong faith, bhakti will develop and one's body will begin to tremble in ecstasy. So the darshane pavitra koro etomara gun. A very advanced devotee, just by seeing him, just by being around him, it is possible to, progress very fast to the higher and higher stages of devotional service, right? So, thus, by living close to a Vaishnava, soon devotion will appear in one's heart. So, basically, you see what Srila Haridas Thakur is trying to do here. What he is trying to do is that he says the offense is to offend the Vaishnavas. And the real cause of offense is to not have a proper appreciation of the glories of Vaishnavas. So by glorifying the Vaishnava, he is trying to develop a very favorable, respectful attitude towards the Vaishnavas, right? So that is why we don't want to not offend out of fear. Okay, that is one level of doing it. But honestly speaking, we want to avoid offenses because we understand the glories of Vaishnavas, which should ideally inspire us to develop a very affectionate respect towards the Vaishnavas. So, Srila Haridas Thakur, by describing the glories of Vaishnavas, is trying to generate that respect. He's helping us, is helping to develop that affection and respect in our heart for the Vaishnavas. That is why he's glorifying the Vaishnavas like this. So, what happens when one comes in touch with a Vaishnava in a proper mood? Okay. So what happens when one comes in touch with a Vaishnava in a proper mood, especially elevated Vaishnava? First, such a person will begin chanting the holy name, and then by the power of the name, he will receive all good qualities. This is the particular power of the Uttamadhikari. So this is especially, as we saw, elevated Vaishnavas, Uttamadhikari. So Uttamadhikari means one who is at the stage of bhava and prema. Okay. So especially them, even their mere presence can actually elevate one very fast to very elevated stages. So this is the potency of very elevated Vaishnavas, right? But of course, that does not mean that if we don't have such elevated Vaishnavas, we don't associate with them. Then in that case, if Madhyamadhikari is there, we associate with Madhyamadhikaris. And if even Madhyamadhikari's association is not available, then we associate with Kanishtadhikaris. But the point is, we should associate with Vaishnavas. That's the most important thing, right? So then now, who is a sadhu or who is a Vaishnava? So he described about the glories of staying in touch with a Vaishnava. Now, who is a Vaishnava? How do you understand who is a Vaishnava? Okay, that is the next discussion. So he says, first, let us define what sadhu or Vaishnava is. In the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna enumerates to Uddhava the characteristics of a sadhu. Okay. So, what are the characteristics of a sadhu? He says, sadhu means dayalu, merciful, sahishnu, tolerant, sama, equal, droha shunya vrata. He performs penances without injury to the body. Satyasara, he is truthful. Vishuddhatma is purified. Parahitarata, he is engaged in welfare of mankind. Kame akshubhita buddhi, an intelligence which is free from lust. Danta, restrained. Akinchana, devoid of concept of ownership. Mridu, gentle. Shuchi, clean. Parimita bhoji, regulated in eating and other habits. Shantaman, who is very peaceful. Aniha, who is very apathetic to materialism, which means he is not attached. Dhriman, he is very patient. Sthira, he is very steady. Apramatta, he is very attentive or alert. Sughambira, he is very grave. Vijita Shadguna, he conquers over the 6 gunas of hunger, thirst, lamentation, envy, old age, and death. Amani, he does not expect honor from others. Manada, he gives respect to everyone. Daksha, he is very skillful. Avanchaka, he is non-hypocritical. Jnani, he is knowledgeable of the scriptures. Right? So these are the qualities. Now, this is the definition of who a sadhu is, a Vaishnava is. So, after hearing this definition of a sadhu, considering that we are discussing the section of sadhu ninda, I just want to ask you, what are the thoughts that are currently running in your mind? If you would like to share. We have discussed the definition of a sadhu from Srimad Bhagavatam. This is Krishna himself speaking to Uddhava. After hearing the definition of this sadhu, considering that we are discussing the theme of sadhu ninda, what are the thoughts that are currently running through your mind? Please share. Okay, Ram Kirti Prabhu, I am unmuting.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, after going through all these qualities, I'm wondering that in this world, rarely we see such sadhu, and the kind of offense we have heard till now is that even a Kanishta Adhikari, if you do some offense to them also, it is a very great offense to a holy name. But here the sadhu meaning is something different after seeing these qualities.
Okay, so which means basically you think that, oh, so which means, does it give you, what is the feeling that you have in your heart? Do you feel a sense of relief? Like, oh, I thought,
yes, bro. Right.
oh, I thought, I offended sadhus. But if this is the definition of sadhu, then I have never even seen such a person. What to speak of offending such a person? Like that you feel.
Right, bro.
So
Right.
a sense of relief. Oh, I did not commit any offense, like that, right?
Exactly, bro.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. Okay, Shakti Mataji, I am unmuting you.
I feel so dejected, Prabhu. Like class after class after, like I come to understand how fallen I am. Like I was thinking that big and all, now like everything is getting smashed.
Okay.
That's what I
But in
feel.
the context of sadhu ninda, what does it? What kind of feeling is it creating in you?
We should not offend any living entity. I feel like that.
How does this definition of a sadhu help you think that way?
Sorry, Prabhu, come again.
How does this definition of sadhu? Okay, yeah, I understand what you're thinking, and I appreciate it. So, oh, he is respectful to everyone. So, what to speak of other Vaishnavas? He is very respectful to even the other living entities, the fallen living entities. So, I should be respectful. That is the way you are thinking. Actually.
No, I feel like this 18.65, like one verse comes, no, like Mad Bhakti Labata Param. One verse.
Mad Bhaktim Labate Param.
Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma Nasochati Naka. That verse, it is far very, I feel it's all higher stage like that.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Radha Damodar Prabhu, what do you think?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. When you ask this question, what's going on when you are reading this definition of sadhu, I was just seeing what qualities I have developed and to what extent.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Go ahead. You want to share something else?
Yeah, you were asking another question also. In when you're going through this in the context of committing an offense against sadhu, what did you get? You were asking that question. Yeah, by going through this definition, yeah, as you mentioned, it's very difficult to qualify to be a pure devotee. So even if we commit some offenses against some devotees, if they have not developed many of these qualities, then the offense also is not so serious like that.
It's not so serious. It's not that bad. Okay, like that. Okay. Thank you. Ganesh Prabhu, what do you think?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, after seeing this thing, even I was thinking like, maybe we all are sailing in the same boat, because such levels of sadhus are very difficult to see or come across. So maybe, we are all sailing in the same boat of, maybe someone is offending us or.
So then no one is a sadhu. And then where is the question of sadhu ninda? In one sense, at least, I don't think I will be committing the first offense. Like that, you feel?
Not really, Prabhuji, but I feel, because there is no one like, of this level of Vaishnava or sadhu, so maybe we all are, forced to commit in some way or the other. We are all sailing because of our anarthas. We are all sailing in the same boat.
Okay.
Well, very difficult to overcome these things then.
Correct. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Ramacharya Prabhu, what do you think?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes,
So, this list is very extensive and we see at many places. We see in Bhagavatam, we see in Chaitanya Charitamrita. But the point here is that, of course, this is a very touchy subject. But the thing that I personally sometimes not, understand, or many devotees do not understand, what exactly is the, offense. So offense has to be defined in a very technical way, so that sometimes the minor thing
that's how the chapter started. The chapter started that if you have a malicious attitude towards another devotee, that is offense, or any act that you perform impelled by that malicious attitude, then that is an offense. Okay, I think you muted yourself, or I'm not able to.
No, I don't. No, I'm just thinking about it. So even there is category behind it, sometimes we have to have some distinctions. So yes, of course, not the bad intention, but that also needs some definition to understand it up to some extent, so that, because this is as I said, it's very, very tricky subject.
Okay, so this will be clarified little more in this chapter. We have just started the chapter and it will get little bit more clarified. Okay, Ruchi Mataji, and then we will move ahead, I think.
Danvat Pranam Prabhuji, I feel this is only possible for a person who's not on the material scale. Material platform पे तो प्रभुजी मुझे नहीं लग रहा कोई ऐसा मिलेगा I mean all over 360-degree rotation पे भी नहीं मिल पाएगा ऐसा human being जिसमें ये सब हो, especially the quality of patience and tolerance and compassionate towards others when we ourselves have so many of our own issues. So I think this is only possible for a person who's almost near samadhi and who's totally connected with the supreme and transcendental, and he can forego everything, especially even hunger. Because I know myself, I mean, obviously I'm a very foreign person, but I get mad when I'm hungry. So if he's even able to control hunger and thirst, then definitely he's extremely close to Krishna, and he is not on the material platform even for 1 second of 24 hours into 365. I think it's only possible for such a person, and we'll find such a person very rare. And I don't think ye offense commit ho paega.
Okay, thank you, Madhu. Thank you. Okay, I think we have heard sufficiently. I will take one message from the chat box. So one devotee says, I feel so differently. Actually, this is very scary for me because many devotees have either one or two or many of these qualities. So every person who has these qualities, even one quality, will have to be considered as a sadhu, and we should be very careful not to do Vaishnav Ninda of anyone. Okay. I mean, that's probably you're speaking from what you have heard or from your gut feeling. But this definition by Krishna says sadhu means one who has all these qualities. So, yeah, one thing someone says, looking at this list, I think one cannot commit this offense. Yeah, one may think like that, definitely. Uh, uh, yeah. Anyway, so let's. I'm sorry, I cannot take. We are running short of time, so I will give you an opportunity to share next time we pause for questions or discussions. So please forgive me. I still see some hands up. So anyway, so by these characteristics, one can know who is a sadhu. Correct. So now, however, here there are two types of characteristics: principal and marginal. There are principal characteristics and there are marginal characteristics. Okay. The principal characteristic is exclusive surrender to Krishna, which means he surrenders only to Krishna, not to any other demigod, no one else, while all others are dependent upon it. So which means principal characteristic is like the engine of a train, and the secondary characteristics are like the bogies of the train. So when the principal characteristic is there, the secondary characteristics, when the engine goes, it's not that along with the engine, the bogies are also moving at the same time. The engine goes first, then one after another, bogie 1, bogie 2, bogie 3, bogie 100, they follow. So similarly, so there are principal characteristic which is Krishneka Sharanam, exclusive surrender to Krishna, and then there are the marginal characteristics. Okay. By some good fortune, one may get the association of Vaishnavas and then attain a taste for the name, chant the name, and take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. Okay, by some good fortune. Yak kenapi ati bhagyen. So, Bhagavatam talks about, or Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu mentions this to be ati bhagya. Okay, extreme good fortune, one may get the association of Vaishnavas, and by that association one may attain taste for the name. Here taste means faith for the name, chant the name and take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. This becomes the chief characteristic and by continuing to chant the name, all the other characteristics make their appearance. Okay, so when you see the engine, then you understand that the train is coming. You may not see that the rest of the bogies of the train immediately. So therefore they are called as marginal. So marginal does not mean that they are unimportant. Marginal means they may not immediately manifest, right? They may not immediately manifest, and their presence or absence cannot be taken as a reliable symptom of who a sadhu is, right? So it is like what is the symptom of you can say what is the symptom of if you are suffering from fever and if you take a paracetamol or crocin, what are the symptoms of eating that medicine? You know, eventually the temperature will go down, but it is not that as soon as you pop that medicine in your mouth and drink that water, it's not that immediately your temperature will go down. It will take its own time, maybe half an hour, 1 hour, like that. The chief characteristic of a sadhu is his complete surrender to Krishna, which is not dependent on certain varna or ashrama. This principal characteristic will prevail in all sadhus, no matter what varna or ashrama, grahastha or sannyasi. So whatever may be one's characteristic, he will surrender only to Krishna. He will not surrender to anyone else. However, according to ashrama or varna, the secondary characteristics will differ to some degree, which means someone may be more patient, someone may be less patient, someone may be more tolerant, someone may be less tolerant, someone may be more clean, someone may be less clean, someone may be more attached to material things, someone may be less attached to material things. These things may change. Okay, even in Bhagavatam, in defining who a sadhu is, Kapiladev says, Titikshava, Karunika, Suhrida Sarvadehinam, Ajata Shatrava Shanta Sadhavo Sadhubhushana. He talks first about the secondary characteristics of a sadhu. Right? He says, Titikshava, he is very tolerant. Karunika, he is very compassionate. Suhrida Sarvadehinam, he is a well-wisher of all the living entities. Ajata Shatrava, he has no enemies. Shanta, he is very peaceful, and so on. Right? But then in the very next verse, he talks about the primary quality of a sadhu. Okay. What is the primary quality? Mai ananyena bhavena bhaktim kurvanti ye dridam matkrite tyakta karmanas tyakta swajana bandava. He says, Mai ananyena bhavena bhaktim kurvanti ye dridam. Ye dridam bhaktim kurvanti. He performs steady bhakti to me. Steady bhakti means what? Not that sometimes he chants and sometimes he thinks he has to do some jnana, sometimes some yoga, sometimes some karma, sometimes some varnashrama. He does not think like that. You know, he performs steady bhakti means he thinks Krishna bhakti kaile sarva karma krita hoy. Just by practicing Krishna bhakti, just by practicing Navada bhakti, all perfection is achieved. That faith he has, that is steady bhakti. Ananyena bhavena, with exclusive devotion. Matkrite tyakta karmana. In order to perform bhakti, he gives up all other practices. Tyakta swajana bandhava. And if necessary, he may give up other friends and relatives also if they are unfavorable for practicing bhakti. So this is the primary quality, and the main problem is when we don't criticize a sadhu based on his secondary qualities. Bhakti will purify him. That is the essence. We are going to discuss this theme in detail next week. The main issue with Vaishnav Ninda is that when the secondary qualities are missing, then we criticize them. But what we have to see is we have to look for the engine. So even though those qualities were mentioned by Krishna to Uddhava, it means if one continues to practice bhakti, then gradually tadarajastamobhava kamalobhadayasche chetete ranaviddam sthitam sattve prasidati. Then gradually when the influence of Rajogun and Tamogun are completely destroyed, and eventually when Sattvagun becomes very prominent and completely prominent, then such a person by the strength of bhakti will develop all those qualities. So which means potential. So a sadhu by perfection of his practice of bhakti can potentially develop all those qualities. But that does not mean the beginning stage only. Today you start chanting and from tomorrow you will possess all those good qualities. That is not what it means. So therefore, but if you say that, oh, you say you are a sadhu, but you seem to have this bad quality, that bad quality. If we look for the secondary quality, while not considering that, oh, he has the primary quality, very soon the secondary qualities will follow. Not giving that benefit of doubt and trying to judge devotees and criticize devotees because of the lack of the secondary qualities, that is the real cause of Vaishnava Ninda. So with that, I will pause and we will take this theme further. I have laid a foundation for our discussion for next week. Next week, we will not discuss about the third chapter. We'll directly start from the fourth chapter. I will just do a brief recap of what we have seen. And then we will take this discussion further and develop it, steadily and try to get an understanding. So before we wind up for the day, if there are any final concluding remarks, comments, we will take. Hema Mataji, I am unmuting.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Prabhu, about this secondary qualities, like is it that it has to be consciously developed? Because okay, at the sadhu level they are very elevated, they're completely surrendered, but for us who are practicing, all these qualities have to be consciously developed, or only by complete surrender they will automatically manifest, Prabhu?
This is a very, very important question that you have asked, and we have to let me just check if this comes in the discussion in this section. Yeah, I don't think this is coming, but this will need a very long discussion, Mataji, and it's already time.
Yeah.
But
sure.
please remind me. I wish to start next discussion with this point because this needs to be discussed. So you please remind me if either you or someone please remind me this discussion has to be we will have to start next discussion with this theme.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Gauranga Purushottam Prabhu, I am unmuting.
Hare Krishna, Dhamal Prabhuji. Prabhuji, if you see the Chaitanya Charitamrita, then this Kala Krishna Das, whether he was in close association of Prabhu, this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, however, he has means deviated, means he left Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and goes to Bhattari. Even this Prabhupada's very close servant, who are serving so much, but later they have also left. Again, they have come. So, what is the cause of this? So that we can also imbibe this quality, so that in due course of time, will not get.
I understand your question, but I'm just trying to understand how is it connected to the subject matter that we are.
In this first this sloka will say कि those who are close, those who are due to association of pure devotee, one also start chanting and they develop the.
Correct. Yeah, but one has to carefully avoid unfavorable association. So association does not just mean physical association. Association means physical association in the right mood of respect and affection. So in that case, it will have an effect. Otherwise, Prabhupada also says that you are more closer than you is the mosquito who is sitting on my body and biting me. So you think a mosquito is more dear to me, like that he says. So therefore, association does not necessarily just mean physical association. Sometimes one may be physical, one may have physical association, but one may, internally one may be quite far. So it depends on that.
So this what the mood should be, means we have to cultivate the mood.
Yeah, we have to cultivate the mood. Yeah, correct.
Thank you, brother.
Correct. Ganesh Prabhu, I am unmuting you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I just wanted to express my gratitude. Like, you concluded and summarized it so well. Like, I think so 50% of the doubts are, radiated by don't criticize a sadhu based on his secondary qualities. Thank you so much for such a wonderful, and I'm looking forward for the upcoming session. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
You should be chanting, you should be thanking Haridas Thakur because this is Haridas Thakur's statement. It's not me statement. Nupur Mataji, I'm unmuting you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, my question is, when we see about Shuddha Nam, we come across so many clauses like for Shuddha Nam, pure faith should be there. It should be offenseless and so many things. So then when we see the categories of like Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, Uttama Adhikari, and then we say Kanishta Adhikari, for Kanishta Adhikari, one he has chanted Shuddha Nam at least once. So like that Shuddha Nam which is chanted by a Kanishta Adhikari at least like once. So what exact name he must have chanted? Means what kind of Shuddha Nam name?
I mean, there it is not exactly Shuddha Nam. Of course, it depends. There are multiple definitions of Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari and Uttama Adhikari. There it refers to Shuddha Nam means chanting the name with Shuddha Shraddha, pure faith. It may be Namabhas also. It may be Chaya Namabhas also, or it may be borderline offensive also, in the sense like with pure faith, but little bit with anarthas and offenses. So there, it is not exactly Shuddha Nam, but it is chanted with pure faith. Pure faith means Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. Just by performing Bhakti, everything else is accomplished like that.
Okay, so it is not exactly Shuddha Nam.
Not exactly Shuddha Nam.
It is like Shuddha, like Shraddha.
Shuddha Shraddha. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare. Amal Bhakti Mataji, Amal meeting.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandvat Pranam. My question is, Prabhu, like we have seen that Pratibimba Nama Bas, one gets Shantarati or Salokya Mukti. So my doubt is like, that means this Pratibimba Namabhas is in Anartha Nivritti stage because Anishta is the Shuddhanam stage. Then one can.
Wait. No. See, okay. I think we will just briefly touch this question and then we will have to end. I am sorry, we are running short of time. See, first thing is there is Shraddha,
Yes, Prabhu.
then there is Sadhu Sangha, then there is Bhajana Kriya, then there is Anartha Nivritti, then there is um, Nishtha, sorry, then there is Nishtha, Ruchi, and so on. Okay. So this Shraddha is pure Shraddha. Okay. So when he is at the stage of Shraddha or Sadhu Sangha or Bhajana Kriya or Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, Ruchi, at all stages he has pure Shraddha only. It is not that while he has Anartha, till Anartha Nivritti he is doing Pratibimba, he has mixed faith. Then after Anartha Nivritti, when Nishtha, Ruchi and all pure, no, it is not like that. So, um, so therefore, the what a person with pure faith, what he sees as anartha, a person with pratibimba, for him it may be a real goal. It may not be an anartha. For example, a desire for mukti is like an anartha, an unwanted obstacle for one with pure faith, even though one may have that desire, just like one may have lust or anger, etc. But the same thing for a person practicing Pratibimba Namabhas, it is not considered as an anartha. It is a goal. It is not an obstacle to achieve that goal.
Yes, Prabhu.
So it is not that till Anartha Nivritti one is Pratibimba and after Anartha Nivritti one is practicing, Chaya. It's not like that.
Okay, so my question is like, can one go back to Godhead in any stages or only in the prema stage, like no in Nishtha stage or Ruchi stage? Can one go back to Godhead or only in prema
No.
stage?
If one has pure faith, if one has pure Shraddha, then only at the stage of prema he can go back home back to God.
Okay, Prabhu, I understood.
Okay, but if one has impure faith, then one will never achieve prema. So, but still, without achieving prema, he can go back home back to God. That is possible. How
Okay,
we
Prabhu,
will discuss this last time. Next time we will discuss this because it's already time.
Okay,
But we will discuss this next time. Okay.
Okay, Prabhu. Yeah, I will remind you. Thank you.
Yeah, remind these two questions. Please remind me next time. We will take this question. Okay.
Yes, Prabhu, definitely. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Shri Harinaam Chintamani ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much.